Oh, a very good evening to you all. It's 6 o'clock. We're about to launch a brand new one-day special. I'm very excited about this as well. Rowandean Embroidery. Of course, Katrina is here. We'll be saying hello in a little while. But the one-day special itself, I'm expecting a very, very busy launch show. So I wouldn't be hanging around anytime soon because, yeah, get these in your baskets. You're getting so much for your money. You really, really are. We've got the details on the screen already. We know you've been shopping ahead as well. We're looking at all these beautiful colours. We're looking at individual projects within the one-day special. You're actually getting 3 different kits, but more than that, we can break that kit down into so many more projects as well. Let's have a look at those details because, of course, you've got the Summer Meadow bundle, your cards here. We can look at those individual designs. We've got beautiful detail. There's something a little bit different about some of these kits as well, which I will discuss with Katrina. You may or may not have spotted it. We've got the bees, we've got the tweed, we've got the cotton, we've got much more as well. Let's say a very good evening to Katrina and ask her a little bit about the inspiration behind the one-day special today. Good evening, Katrina.
Good evening.
Oh, it's lovely to see you again. It's lovely to have another one-day special with you here.
It's brilliant. It's really exciting when you get a time to actually show everybody what we're stitching and how to stitch and enjoy the project. So hopefully we've got a lovely few hours together.
Can you tell me a little bit about the one-day special? Because we had our little meeting beforehand and you said there's something new that you've not done before. You've brought an ingredient, so to speak, into the mix.
Yeah, well, for this project, I really wanted to bring the idea of meadows together because that, you know, when you're out for a walk, the grasses, the wildflowers are just inspirational. So I tried to combine that, my inspiration for these projects, with maybe trying out some organza ribbon, maybe trying out a few other things that you could use the organza as a background and to stitch with. So that's what we're going to do today.
Lovely. We can't wait for demonstration either. Let's have a look at this. Let's break it down a little bit more. So we've got this Summer Meadow bundle, the card kit. So we're looking at that right now. So you can make 6 cards. You do get the card blanks. You do get the envelopes. Of course, if you want to use these in a different way, you certainly can do. Each and every one of those designs is different. You get all of the components in there. So the tweed, which is pre-printed for you, all of those threads. And what I love about Katrina's kits are we see so many different variations of thread. There's different yarns, there's metallics in there might be variegated threads, depends on the kits, but there's so much included. Look at those greens, absolutely glorious. You always get your needles, you get beads, you get sequins. I can see we've got some satin in here, we've got organza, we've got the organza ribbon, which is a little bit different for Katrina. Rather than just always using the organza pieces and breaking them up, you've got the actual ribbon. Yeah. How are you going to use yours? This is just the first part of the one-day special, the 6 cards there. Let's move down because we've got the daisies and the ladybird. This is so sweet. Again, using the ribbon, the organza ribbon, to create the petals of the daisies. There's that lovely little ladybird, teamed with, of course, those beautiful colours again, those different yarns. Some great beads in this one as well, some quite large beads actually, which really add to the centre of those flowers. That's really effective, Katrina, isn't it?
I quite like the wooden beads. They're really, really sculptural in it when you start to stitch and attach them to the background. Really good.
Love it. There where you can see the details there. Of course, you get full instructions, you get everything that you need. I am going to tell you about the framework afterwards. That doesn't come included in the kit. You get the kit, you get the needles, you get the beads, you get the sequins, you get the fabric, which are again pre-printed. We've got organzas, we've got satin again in this one, we've got those ribbons. Let me just pick up these yarns actually so you can see. There, look at that beautiful, beautiful colour palette there, that yellow against the purple. Those greens there, you've got that lovely shimmery metallic in there, and of course you can see the organza ribbon. But it doesn't stop there, because that is kit number 2 as part of the one-day special. We've got a 3rd kit. Now, the 3rd one, and we know you already love these because there's been many play-around kit being sold here before. But this is a brand new one, part of the one-day special. Katrina, the amount of yarn that you've included here is just mind-boggling.
I know. When I come to select them, I think, well, that will be great. And then I find something else that will be really great. And then I think, well, I'll just put it all in anyway. And it's got really a lot of texture in there, some fabulous wools, some really nice variegated threads. a lot of splashes of colour for the hedgerow and the meadows, and lots of texture with the mohair threads.
There is definitely texture in there, and not only that, again you've got you know, you've got different materials in there, you've got the beads and sequins, but not only have you got fabric, you've got both tweed and cotton here, which is amazing. You've treated us to both.
I think, well, sometimes I think it's nice to try both if you've not had a play around pack before, to work with the background fabrics, because we use both of them in our kits, and it just gives you the opportunity to sort of stitch in a slightly different way with the wool and then the cotton. So, you know, you could choose to do tiny little miniature pictures, or you could choose to do one great big picture and still have loads left.
You will certainly have loads left. Look at the satins here as well. Absolutely beautiful colours. The organzas, a whole array of colours there. Yeah, definitely lots of texture in the yarns. All of that for a one-day special. All three of those kits that we've just talked about are all included. You've got a lovely £7 saving there as well. And we've got a flexi. Doesn't get much better, does it? We can split this down. Look, 2 payments of £23.93. Now already we are approaching 10% of the stock gone. Before we move away from this, I want to remind you one or two other things. We are now at 10%. We've just reached there. I've just heard 160291 is the item number. I want to tell you about the display hoops, because we can see this beautiful, beautiful piece of work that's displayed here. Just going to bring these in. Because you've got the flexi, if you want to add in your display hoops, all of the sizes that I'm holding here are included, so that's from 5 inches right through to your 7-inch. £13.99. These are hardwood as well. Absolutely beautiful way to display your work. If you want to pop that into your basket along with the one-day special, of course, you can split the cost into 2. It really does finish off the project, doesn't it, Katrina?
So, and it means that you can frame your piece straight away, and that's the exciting bit. When you've finished your piece, you want to see it framed. Either give it as a gift or hang it on the wall. So I think they're a perfect way of framing.
They are. They're very, very smart indeed. We have also got more in the way of tweed for you. We've got a tweed fat quarter. Now, you do get tweed and cotton in the play-around kit, but you've got so much fabric. We've said you're bound to have loads left over. If you want to go for the extra piece of tweed, you can also split the cost of that as well. This is specially woven as well for Rowandean. Absolutely beautiful to work with. £12.99 is the price. 331119 is the item number. Being a fat quarter, Katrina, do we know the actual size of this? Because it will depend on the width of the fabric, I suppose.
Yes, it's quite a wide fabric, so it's a big fat quarter. You know, if Ted was here, he would know exactly how big it is, it's how many centimetres. But I don't. But it's a large piece.
The reason I asked was actually because not only did I think that is a huge piece of fabric, but I also heard it in my ear as well. It just varied. Fat quarters, of course, go on the width of the fabric. So, yeah, absolutely amazing. Pop that in your basket as well, 331119. Now, we are going to move down before we go to Katrina, just to show you one more item, because this is another new today. And this is another stunner as well. Now, we haven't just got one, we haven't got 2, but we've got 3 projects again here. Look at that, £3 savings, so you could save £1 off each, couldn't you? £29.85. Let's have a look in detail at what we've got. Straight away, do you know what, I say this to Katrina all the time, what draws the customers in? Is it the flowers or the theme behind the piece of work, or do you think it's the colours? And I think usually it's the colours that draw you in, and green and pink for me, especially that sort of zesty green. I absolutely adore that. It's so pretty, Katrina.
It is pretty, and it's exactly what you see growing, you know, by the side of the road or in a meadow. And the idea of using just a few beads and a few French knots, you get a fabulous design. And I think the organza just softens it, and you've got layers of colour there to add a little bit of texture as well.
Yeah, I love the texture in the organza there. So they are pieces of organza, and you can make the edges raggedy. All the instructions will be included. Let's have a look what else we're getting there, because that is the first of 3 individual projects. So the next one, again, the colours just so pretty, aren't they? On the tweed again. So what we've got here is the hayfield. Those beautiful sort of lavender colours in there with the greens, Katrina. Again, you've got the beads and the sequins. You've got real perspective with that one.
I think sometimes it's quite nice to stitch a landscape.
Yeah.
You see that every day, don't you? You see the hay has been harvested and it's drying, and those colours are the colours just after you know it's been cut. And I mean, I think that for me, the foreground of a a picture is really important. I love the texture and I love adding the beads and the sequins and the stitching in the foreground. But all these things are, you know, you can add as many or as few as you want. So that's the beauty of this kind of stitching, is that you can personalise it.
Oh,
and if you don't want to put any beads on or any sequins, you can use all French knots. There's plenty of thread in the kit to do that.
You could put a couple of little birds in the sky or anything, couldn't you? Yeah. Oh, very, very sweet indeed. Now, the third one, oh, look at the colours in here. Now, Katrina, you've been very clever with this one, the Secret Stream. Now, I know you're very proud of this.
The colours, it is the colour of this one, where that stream is just winding its way through into the distance. And then the colours of the trees are really quite, I think they're quite spectacular, just worked in French knots, few beads, but it's the turquoise and the variegated threads there that just give it that little bit of a lift. And a little bit of organza there for the stream just flowing out the picture. Just little tiny slithers of organza.
Do you know, the organza again works so well that I think without it you'd lose that perspective, but you're so clever with the way that you layer these up. All three of those projects for just £29.85. You could split this one down, you could gift these, you can keep them for yourselves. 709395 is the item number. Now, we've got a little picture to show you as well. We're going to meet a furry friend. Now, this is Mia.
This is Mia. This is Mia.
Oh, Katrina, tell us who Mia is.
We have two cats, and there's Mia and Poppy. And Mia is very adventurous. And when we were out in the garden trying to photograph the piece for this project, she just wanted to be in that picture and just stand all over the work. And then next to the flower, it just seemed lovely that she was just looking up. Just lovely, really.
Oh, that is gorgeous. We need to see Poppy next time as well. But there's Mia. We've got more images to show you as well. I wonder where these have come from. Oh, there. That is the. This is one of Katrina's again. Doesn't that look sweet with the daisy next to it? But you can see the use of the organza ribbon there. All those beautiful colours. The little ladybird. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Now the next one is actually from a viewer. Oh wow.
I think.
Oh my goodness! Look at that. This is from Sue.
The colours are just fabulous. Look at the colour in those leaves.
Isn't that
absolutely
amazing?
Stunning.
And the butterfly, it looks like it's really just landing there on the blackberries. That is absolutely beautiful. Oh, Sue, you are clever. Thank you for sharing that.
Lovely.
Oh, I'm just hearing Sue actually finished that last night, so she could send that in today.
Brilliant, thank you.
Oh, Sue, have you got your eye on the one-day special? That's what I want to know. I bet you have. Oh, do keep sending those pictures in. We love, love, love to see them. Yeah, one-day special, off to a flying start, 160291. Don't forget, you've got 3 individual projects in there, but break that down and much more than that as well. But I do want to get over to Katrina as quickly as possible. I think, Katrina, are we concentrating on the one-day special to begin with?
We are. We're going to have a little go at that. So the first one I'm going to show you is the ladybird, the daisy and the ladybird kit. Now, as with all our designs, you'll have a little bit of a print on the fabric there. I'm working mine in the spring hoop, so this is the larger of the hoops. So if you haven't seen these before, they're just great. So you just place your work on a flat surface and then just hold the spring, and that's going to keep the work taut throughout the project. And then I'm just going to start with the daisy part. So, I mean, the colours, they're just fantastic to work with. They'll be all on the card, labelled, and we've got 2 colours of the organza ribbon, well, 3 colours really, and that's going to work the daisy, and then some grasses in the foreground. So I've threaded this up, and this time I've given a chenille needle, so it's actually it's a slightly larger needle. It's a size 20 needle, so the eye of the needle and perhaps a little bit of the needle is a little bit thicker than the ones that we would normally use. So I think it's easy to pull through the fabric. And so to start with, you just ignore the fact that it's a ribbon, and I'm just going to bring the thread up from the back, and I'm just going to pull that through. And I'm just going to leave a little bit on the other side so that I can feed that in later. I'm not going to put a knot on this. I'm just going to use the ribbon as a thread. So I'm just going to pull that all the way through, and that's exactly how you work this stitch. So you're just going to pull all the way through, and you're just going to go over the print, and it'll twist itself into place. Really
I was
quite
just
easy
going
to do.
ask that, Katrina, actually. Do you have to watch out that it doesn't twist right around, or does it just tend to
Yeah,
fall
I mean,
into
I think it's
place?
fine if it twists, but sometimes it's nice just not to go through the ribbon twice if you can help it, because I think it may be a little bit more difficult to pull through. You can leave spaces because we're going to add other stitches to the petals, and you see how quickly that works. Now you could just as easily work with organza that's torn into strips, but at the moment I think it's quite nice to create a daisy just with the ribbon.
I think the ribbon works beautifully because you've got that automatic shape to the petals. It's as though it's a little bit pointed at the end, and it gets wider in the centre and then comes to a point
That's
again
great.
in the centre of the
it
flower.
sort of winds itself into place, and it's actually not difficult to pull through the fabric. And so if as you approach the end or where you want to change the colour, or you're running out of the ribbon, you can just leave that loose on the back. And as I'm just going to pull that through, I'm just going to take that through, and I've just said don't pull it too tight. So if your work just changes tension a bit, just put it back in, and that'll keep that taut, and you can keep going around.
And this is why these particular hoops are so useful, Katrina, because
Very useful.
Yeah, and you get two different sizes, don't you, with the accessory hoops?
Yeah, you
Bring
get
the details up.
a 5-inch and a 7-inch hoop. They're really good to work with, and they're interchangeable with a project. So you can work with either. I think it's good to use both sizes. And then I'm just going to take that away there.
And you
then
get those little
actually
scissors as well, don't you?
Really very quick to do. And then once you've actually, I've got one of the other colours in the kit. And this is a viscose ribbon. And then I'm just going to take the same shape, and I'm just going to stitch over in between, and I'm just going to add a little bit of texture there, and just go over the print again, and just making that a little bit more textured.
That's got a beautiful sheen to it.
And you're just going to treat that exactly the same as a thread. And you can work as many colours in there. Some are worked with white, some are worked with a lazy daisy stitch, which we'll do. But you can see how quickly that's going to give texture to that flower.
And do you suggest always starting with the petals? I know we do get the instructions, but you wouldn't start with the centre of the flower, always start with the petals?
I quite like to start with the petals so that I can get the shape of the flower, then I can fill the centre of the flower in later. I don't want to stitch too much and not be able to get the petals in there. So
that makes sense.
We'll just take that round to the back, and again you can just turn that round and just wind it round a couple of the threads just to keep it out of the way. And then you're ready to start. And I would suggest, complete all of those, but I want to show you some other parts of the design as well. So that's going to create the flower. And then another part of this design is to work at the grasses in the foreground. So some of them are stitched, and so there is a print as to show you a guide of the size as to stitch. So you're going to do a giant stitch, the full length of that print, and then you're going to add other colours in there to create
And this
the
is
tension.
again where you can improvise. If you want to add more, you can do.
That's right. So I'm going to just use a little bit of the ribbon here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cut that out the way. I'm just going to take a little bit of the ribbon, and I'm just going to use it as a straight stitch, exactly the same. And I'm just going to add a little bit of stitching through the piece. You don't have to use the whole length of the ribbon. You can just use a small amount. You can just do one stitch, or if you prefer, you don't need to use the ribbon. You can use all of the threads instead. But I just think it gives a little bit of texture there, and I'm just going to do a little bit of that there.
This is why these hoops are so good, Katrina, because they're so easy to adjust.
So easy to adjust the tension, and just releases the fabric very easily. So that's just going to give you a little bit of texture to start with, and then you can start using the variegated threads just so that you can get a little bit of texture and build up the grasses. So you're just going to use a variegated thread, and really it's really easy to go over the print and then you're going to work some of the stitches in between the print, and you're going to go overlap those and just build the texture.
Oh, nice.
And it's really, really quick to do. And then, of course, you can add some fly stitches in there. So fly stitches where you bring the thread up from the back and then just take the thread across, place the needle into the fabric and bring it between the distance between the 2 points, and then you're going to just tuck the thread underneath, and you're almost going to have a
nice.
Y stitch, and it's called a fly stitch, just to give you a little bit of texture on that, on the grasses there. So again, you're just going to fasten that off really, really easily, and then go to the next thread. So what's lovely about this is there are only a couple of stitches. You've got a couple of stitches for the daisy part, a couple of fly stitches, and maybe some lazy daisies in the foreground. So it's quite an easy, you don't need a lot of stitches to create this effect. So.
And of course, as we've said, you can improvise as well if you do wish to do so. Details still on the screen there for the one-day special. That's just a tiny, tiny little bit of it. Now, I do want to just go through the hoops again because we've got two different sets. So the accessory hoops also come with the little embroidery scissors. I'm just going to take those out so you can see them. Super sharp, really nice fine point on those. Great for cutting those threads. Of course, your hoops, you're easily able to adjust these because they've got that little spring on there. So you've got your 5-inch and your 7-inch there. These are exactly the ones that Katrina uses throughout the demonstrations. $15.99 is the price for the whole bundle. Do you know, if you've never got yours, grab them today. If you're new and you're looking at this now and thinking, do you know, I think I could have a go at this. You don't have to be someone that has a sewing machine or that has sewn before. Very, very clear instructions, very simple stitches to do. It could be something that you find that you absolutely love. I'm sure you will. Now, the details there are just disappearing for the accessory hoops. We also have, and just to make it clear, this is a completely different set. These are the display hoops, so these are hardwood. Again, you've got different sizes in here, ranging from 5 to 7, so you've got 5, 6 and 7. You've got the inner and the outer areas there. These really are, the purpose of them is to display your work. You don't have to put your work in the hoops, but they work perfectly, and the fact that you've got that hardwood as well, they just look so classy, don't they? Item number there, 727069. Now, maybe you want to look at one or two of the kits as well. We can see beautifully displayed in one of the hoops here as well. Look at the colours in this one. Cornflower meadow. We've got a little bit of the poppies in the foreground there as well. The use of the organza is stunning in the sky. The bees are adorable. Look at that. The layering with the organzas, the different colours, the textures again, absolutely stunning. I know I use that word a lot, but I can't help it because it is, that's exactly what it is. All those different yarns, those different threads, we've got variegated threads again, we've got metallics in there, those beautiful bright colours, all for just £19.95. You get everything you need just to take this from the kit and get going. Apart from, if you do want the hoops, obviously they're an add-on. You can manage without, but it will make the job a lot easier if you go for those as well. 869924 is the item number there for the Cornflower Meadow. Now we've got the Cowslips Meadow next, so very similar when it comes to the ingredients in the kit, because you're getting, of course, the pre-printed tweed, you're getting the needles, you're getting the organza, you're getting all the yarns and the thread, but it's another stunner, isn't it? I like this one, Katrina. You've got lots of height there with some of the flowers as well, with the cowslips. Look at that. Beautiful.
And they're such a lovely plant. You know, when you get all those colours together, just the little sort of use of variegated threads and the little tiny seed beads just give it a lot of texture. And I think this kind of thing, it works very quickly. You know, there's no counting. You're really doing really quite big textured stitches. And it's quite fun to use that some of them are knitting yarns and some of them metallic. So it gives you instant texture without having to think about how to create that texture. You know,
does,
the
and that clever use of
organza
again. Yeah, to fray that. So we've got some mohair in that one, I've noticed. 1995 846 889 is the item number. Now next we've got the needle case. Now I must open this out to show you because this is beautiful. Now, oh, you found it. We're already approaching 20% of the stock gone. Now, if I just open this right out so you can see the front and the back in its entirety. For me, Katrina, I adore the bees. I just love those little bees. I'd be putting bees on everything. Oh, you've got so many flowers in there as well.
I think there's a ladybird too in the foreground.
There is a ladybird. We can see the ladybird.
But what I like about the needle case is that it's the stitches that I like using. You know, it's like French knots. They're easy stitches, some spider's webs, and then look at when you open that needle case, you've got texture. So there's another piece of organza there with bees and ladybirds and a dragonfly, so that you can stitch those and add those wherever you want in your piece. It's something that you could add. You could use it as almost like a textile journal or a stitch journal, or you could use it as a needle case.
Oh, are these hand-dyed felts in this kit as well?
Yes, they are hand-dyed.
Amazing.
It's a wool
Look at
felt.
that. Absolutely. What a lovely project. I wouldn't be able to give that one away if I thought, well, I'll make this and gift it. I don't think I could. And it's that use of organza again. Well, you are loving that. £23.95, 776 971, 20% of the stock has already gone. Now, we'll keep going because we've got more goodies for you as well. We've got another lovely kit next. Now, poppies, always very popular. We've got poppies in a field. You may have seen this one before, you may not, but it's one of Katrina's lovely images where she uses the foreground there. Not just everything in the distance, you've got the foreground which draws you into the picture. Obviously, you won't get the frame with it, but you can frame yourself or you can use the project in a different way. Katrina, in here, we've got lovely organzas. We've got the satin in there, some beautiful glass beads in there. I can see bugle beads and seed beads. Lovely. I absolutely adore how you do the little flowers in the foreground.
I think it just takes your eye out of the picture. And this one's slightly different in that I've used a square mount to put the piece in. So, you know, it's a different way of framing a piece of work. But what I like is that the sort of poppies are falling out the picture.
Yeah.
You know, that's the bit I really like.
Yeah, it's like the spilling out, isn't it? £14.95. What a great price. 561085 is the item number there. Do you know you can actually change, if you frame these and put them on the wall, you can change them with the seasons. I'll just keep all 4 seasons out because we have got something for every single season here. In fact, wait for it, wait for it. This is the first time I've actually seen this particular kit. I did hear that it has been on before, but it absolutely flew out the door. You found it because it's busy this hour. I think a lot of you might have been waiting for this to come back. This is the Holly and the Ivy kit. Of course, you can see we've got that magnificent robin there sat on the branch. Katrina, this literally did fly out the door when you brought it the first time.
It did. And so, I mean, it's a lovely thing, a lovely little bird to stitch, you know. I know they do make a lot of noise in the garden, but they are Christmas, aren't they? And the plants that are in my garden, really, I've got holly and I've got ivy, so it just seems a natural thing to put together. So the sort of ivy is made from organza, and then some really heavy textured beads and some felt. And then I quite like the snowflakes in the distance.
They add to it perfectly, don't they? And that just goes to show again. I mean, you do get the little frame in this one, don't you? Yeah, you do get the little frame in this one, but it just goes to show again how beautifully displayed every one of the images is, or the projects are. So if you're going for anything else and you haven't got that hardwood frame, make sure you pop those in your basket. This again is flying out. How much has gone? 30% already. 30% of the stock has gone. Some of you did find it before we mentioned it, but now we've mentioned it, I don't think it's going to be hanging around. That little bird might be flying away, so grab yours right now. 356881 is the item number. Now, if you haven't seen Katrina's book yet, treat yourself to this one. This is absolutely stunning, and I mean stunning. There are projects in the book where you can buy the kits to go alongside, but there's so much information in there. The photography is incredible. This has been printed in many languages now. It's been a great seller, and it just keeps going, and you will not be disappointed. £17.99 is the price. 903483 is the item number. Now, quick reminder, the one-day special, then we'll see if we can get back to Katrina. Of course, you're getting 3 individual kits, all within that one-day special. We're approaching 20% of the stock already gone. You're getting 6 cards. You do get the blanks, you get the envelopes, you get the individual projects, all pre-printed on the tweed there. You've got the play-around pack, and of course, you've got that beautiful, beautiful daisy. It's like, I bet that's what you see when you look out your window, isn't it? Because I know you take lots of inspiration from your garden. And we saw Mia there, didn't we, with the daisies as well. All of that for just £47.85 with that £7 saving. You've got the flexi as well. We can break it down, so if you're adding hoops or anything else into the mix, you can split the cost as well. Just £23.93 today for the one-day special. 160291. Right, without further ado, let's get back to Katrina. What have you got there, Katrina?
Okay, well, we're gonna look at the meadow cards. So I've got these a little bit, I've done a little bit of stitching on these, and I'd just like to show you how easy it is to work on the 6 designs. They're only quite tiny, but you see a lot in the design, and it's nice to have a change and work the 6 ideas. So the one that's in the middle there, that one is like the ribbon with a yellow daisy in the centre. So I'd just like to show you some of the others. So we've got loads of threads. I got a bit carried away here. So we've got 17 different colours, and I think some of 2, 3, 4 of them have got several threads on the card. So the idea is that you've got really nice bright greens, you've got some really bright yellows, and then you've got flashes of pink and red and purple. So lots of colours to work with, a little bit of sparkle there. So the main thing is that you're going to be using, this time you're using the organza, you'll get loads of colours in there, you'll get a lot of different colours, and the idea is that for some of them that you will take the organza and you'll distort the organza and then you'll place it onto your design. So you take a little bit of the organza, just cut it on the bias, and that's the stretchy part.
Okay.
And then you're just going to take the fabric and then you're just going to distort it a little, be a bit mean to it, and just get that really nice and frayed and interesting. And then these pieces are going to be placed over the print, and then you're just going to pin those on. And then you're just going to give layers of texture there. So on this, the cornfield one here, the cornflower one, we've got some yellow marigolds, and we're going to have some blue cornflowers. So you put the organzas on. In the instructions, there's a picture of how to place the organzas before you start. And then really it's just a matter of get stitching. So this is a great stitch. This is Lazy Daisy, or detached chain. So there is a print underneath that you can use as a guide. So this time you go back into the same place and then bring the needle towards yourself, and then just tuck the thread underneath, and that's going to give you almost a loop, and then you're just going to hold that loop in place by just taking the thread over the thread, and that's the first loop. And then you go back to the middle, and then just turn the work slightly so that you're always bringing the needle and the thread towards yourself. Hold the thread, you're going to go back into the same place, and then you're just going to bring the needle, and you can adjust the length of that loop there, and then just take the thread underneath, and you'll get those loops appearing, and that's just for the daisy, and it's a field
do you know, you're
marigold.
such a good demonstrator, Katrina. I know we all say this about you here. You're so calm, and it's very relaxing just listening to you, but watching Katrina and stitch those different stitches there. Seriously, if you are a beginner, you could pick these kits up and you could work with them. Treat yourself to the one day special or one of the other kits. It doesn't matter. Just give it a go. Of course, Katrina, you've got lots of followers as well who come back time after time after time.
I think there's something quite reassuring about the stitches, that it's not complicated, that it is easy to do, and it's manageable, that you haven't got to, you know, worry about will I be able to do the stitches, will I be able to do the stitching. The stitching is quite free, it's quite forgiving in that you've got a little bit of colour on there, and it doesn't matter if you follow the instructions exactly.
Of course.
You know, there is a bit of a plan, you know, there is a sort of, you know, you need to stitch this bit first and then another bit. But really, if you like the stitching and you like, you know, we haven't done any French knots yet, but I'm sure we will in a minute or so. You know,
well,
you can watch these back, you know.
We've had a lovely email from, actually, it's one of our suppliers, one of our guests in, Nikki from Polka Doodles has emailed in. And, oh, it's lovely to hear from you, actually, Nikki. I've not seen you in ages. She's saying she absolutely loves Rowandean, loves the one day special, what a cracking one day special it is. And Nikki's so right, and we've just said it there as well. You can't go wrong. There isn't a wrong, because, you know, you can improvise, you can follow rigidly to the instructions and to the pattern. But if you want to go a little bit, you know, more off piece with your own way, you can add more beads, less beads. Somebody like Nikki was so talented herself to send an email in, Katrina, and say how much she enjoys it.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. It's really nice. It keeps me stitching as well when I see people enjoying it.
Yes, we need to keep Katrina stitching. Definitely.
Okay, so I'm just going to finish that little bit there. So really, lazy daisies, you'll have seen them before, but I think once you start, I'm working in the full 6 strands of the thread here, so they're quite bold and they'll be quite dramatic on the card, and that's going to be a really super dramatic part of the picture. So I'll just fasten off with a couple of stitches on the back, and then the next thing I'm going to show you is how to do a fabric flower. So these are the cornflower. Nice. So in the pack you'll get a collection of organzas, and I'm just going to take what I would call is a cornflower blue, and I'm just going to take a little bit of the organza and I'm going to cut quite a narrow strip of the organza. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm just going to take a single thread and I'm just going to stitch all the way across the length of the fabric, and I'm just going to do a running stitch all the way along. Small, fairly small stitches, and then when I get to the other end of the thread, you're just going to pull the thread all the way through. You do need a knot at the end, so once you've got the thread there, then you can draw that up and it'll concertina, it'll just gather up.
As simple as that.
And then you can just hold the folds, squash all the fabric between your finger, and then you just take a couple of stitches just to hold all those together. And if you want to, you can fray that a little bit more or trim the threads, but you can use it then to attach it. Move that out.
And again, everybody can achieve that. If you've never picked up a needle and
they're so
thread
lovely.
before,
They're just
you could
very
do
easy
that.
to do. And just take a couple of stitches there just to hold that in place.
That's perfect for a cornflower as well. The colour, the shape.
And so that's another way of using the organza, just to create very, very tiny little cornflowers. And they are that bright blue when you see them. You can often see them at the roadside at the moment, you know, with the daisies and the poppies and the bright blue, and they're quite the vivid yellows, and they look really...
They look beautiful together, don't they?
Really,
Katrina,
really
we're getting so many emails in. We've got more pictures. I've had a sneaky peek of one, and I'm literally blown away at what's coming in here. Seriously. Let's have a look at this next one. Oh, this is from Alex. Is that our Alex? Is it? Oh, how wonderful is that?
Isn't that gorgeous?
It's absolutely beautiful. Oh, Alex, well done. She'll be watching from the green room. Oh, well done. Happy anniversary to her parents that was made for. Beautiful. Oh,
I love the layering of the organza.
Very nice.
Fantastic.
Oh, look at these as well.
Oh, super.
These are from Cassie.
Lovely.
Kathy. Oh, Cassie. Cassie. Kathy. 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 Kathy.
Lovely.
They're
really
beautiful. Oh, and the pop is always very popular.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely stunning. Oh, wow, look at this one as well.
Oh, that looks stunning.
This is
really
from
nice.
Suja.
That's lovely. That was a walk that, in Derbyshire with Willowherb Bank, and it was all across the top of the hedge.
Oh, wow.
All the willowherb and the cow parsley, and then a little bit of a cornfield in the distance.
Do you know, that is absolutely beautiful. I've got to tell you, Suja sent so many images in. We haven't got time to show every single one at the moment, but we might be able to see more. But thank you so much. Every one of them is absolutely beautiful. It really is. Oh, wow. The one-day special. Yeah, let's just give the details where it's there on the screen, because, of course, very quickly, because I want to get back to Katrina. Your 6 cards, all of the materials, so the printed tweed, the needles, the threads, lots of threads as well, the organzas, the satin, you've got the organza ribbon in there as well, card blanks and envelopes, but obviously you don't have to use these as cards. I can think of so many other projects. I mean, if you want to frame, you want to put them into cushions, notebooks, make your own needle cases out of these as well. By the way, that needle case has been literally flying. Second part of the one-day special is, this lovely little project here. We've seen part of this being created with Katrina earlier on. Lots of texture in there as well. The use of that organza ribbon is just divine, isn't it? That little ladybird, just the finishing touch. You've got lots of texture again there with the wooden beads and the height that's built there with those different materials. And then, of course, the third part of the one-day special is that play around pack. Katrina has been so generous. Look at the amount of yarn that you get. The threads, the wools in there, you know, the metallics, you've got organza, you've got silks, you've got needles, you've got loads of beads and sequins again, and you've got tweed and also the cotton as well, so you've got two different materials to stitch on. You are going to have spare, I'm sure of that. You can use as little or as much on your own projects. Do exactly what it says. Play around with it. £47.85 for the whole lot. That's everything that we've just gone through there. A quarter of the stock has now gone. You're saving £7. We can split this into two payments, £23.93 today. You've got all those wonderful flowers, lots of different variations of flowers there, lots of different colours. So it's the best of everything. If you are splitting your basket, if you're using that flexi and you haven't got the hoops, whether it's the display hoops or the accessories, please, please, please do add those in, because you will find that everything works so much easier if you've got the right tools. Now, the accessory tools, I've just got them here for you, just to remind you the difference between the two. These are your working tools, so these are going to help you when you're actually stitching. You do get the scissors included. How many percent? 30% gone. Wow. 5-inch and 7-inch hoop with the scissors. I love it, you know, I love it when I know people are buying these, because it does tell me that there's probably new people who've never tried Rowandean before are probably having a go or willing to have a go, and I think you will be hooked. Item number 646785. And then the other hoops we've got, of course, are the display hoops. These are hardwood. You've got the 5-inch, the 6-inch and the 7-inch. So you've got the inner and the outer for each there, approaching 40% of the stock gone on these. £13.99. You can see the display hoops used in many, many of the pack shots that we've got here on the counter. They're everywhere. We've got so much colour in the studio. 727069. Look, everything. I did say all seasons. We've got autumn, we've got summer, we've got the beautiful holly and ivy, of course. That's another one that is literally flying out the door. It's sold out so quickly before. If you missed out, please don't miss out again today. We'll keep you posted on updates there. Lots to choose from. Let's get back to Katrina though, because we've got time. We've got plenty of time. We've got about 15 minutes.
We've got time. So I'm just going to show you the colours that are in part of the one-day special. So this is the play around pack that we've put together. So really, this is to me is what a meadows are. You've got some fabulous texture, fabulous greens. You've got some cornflower colours there as well, and you've got some bright greens for vivid grasses as well. And then, of course, you've got colour, the splash of colour for the wildflowers. So you've got loads to play with. Really, really lovely to work with those, and you'll have loads left over. So this is I think the second time I've used a cotton and a tweed fabric. So you could choose on your piece to actually work individual designs and cut them up and make cards or put them on a book cover, or you could actually create one landscape just using some of the organza and some of the straight stitches and the textures that are in there. So this time I've mixed the textures quite a lot, so you'll get some of the Jameson threads from the Shetlands. You've got lots of beads, lots of variegated threads, and really a texture with the satins and the organzas. So lots to play with, and I'm just going to show you with this thread. I've got my frayed fabrics on here. I've got a little bit of this thread here. So this one is a textured thread, and it just looks great. It doesn't go through the fabric. You just lie it on the surface. It's called couching. So you just hold that down with one little tiny nice. Stitch, and you've got instant texture, you know, quite a lot of undergrowth on that piece. But I'm sure we need to, I don't think we've ever not shown a French knot on one of the programmes.
We wouldn't let you go home.
I can't go home without
showing us, Katrina,
no, definitely not. So you can use these in all sorts of ways, and I think to start with, it's a one stitch that's definitely worth mastering. So I've got my work in the hoop here, and I'm just going to take the thread around once, twice, and then I'm not going to exactly the same place, just about one thread over. And as I'm pushing the needle through, you just tighten that, and that just gives.
So keeps it taut as far as possible without over pulling it.
And then just let it travel in on its own. Don't be tempted to guide it. Just let it do its own thing. And then again, if you've got it in the hoop, it gives you two hands to work that stitch. And then just twice around will give you a perfect French knot. And then if you want to actually make the knot smaller, you can just go around once, and that will give you a much smaller knot. Don't be tempted to go around loads and loads of times. Just twice will just give you the best results. And then once you've actually got carried away with those, then you can do some loopy French knots. So these ones where you're intentionally making it loopy.
Okay.
They're not ones that have gone wrong. It's just ones that look a little bit textured. And so you can do anything.
Doesn't it?
So they look great whether you've got a metallic thread.
Yeah.
But you know, once master the French knots to start with, and then you can just take that through there. And actually, they're quite relaxing to do.
And again, that beautiful variegated thread there.
There, and then the magic just happens when you're working that. So you just take the thread around, and then as you pick your work up, you can just bring the needle back, and it'll twist into itself. If you find the needle twisting a little bit, then you can let the needle drop and untwist itself. If you find if it's being worked a little bit much.
Katrina, do you ever split the threads, or do you tend to work with the type of thread that you're working now?
Definitely split the threads. Yeah? You know, you can get. I mean, I think perhaps we use 2 strands or 3 strands. You can get a really lovely effect, a very delicate effect. So yeah, we don't just use the 6. You can use a mixture, and then I quite like blending the colours together. You know, use one colour.
Oh, yeah,
of one.
course.
So if you've got this pack, I think that's a good way to experiment mohair with some cotton embroidery, or mohair with a knitting yarn, and you'll get some really, really super colours appearing. I think if you look at this one here further up, just onto the next design, here I've mixed a woolen yarn with the mohair and stitched the 2 together with the needle through the fabric, and you'll get it looking like almost like a dried grass working through the fabric. And then, you know, French knots can be scattered, or you can work them in columns, and, you know, a bit like a foxglove or a delphinium. You know, they can look great. And so it's so easy to create a little design using straight stitch and French knots.
Those flower sequins are really pretty as well, and I can see you've held those down with a couple of stitches, but I suppose you could sort of go in between each petal as well and build another layer. You could do that, and I think you get a mix in the kit. You'll get a mixture of sequins, and you'll get different sizes and different sizes of beads, so that you will be able to choose different ones to work with. And I mean, this is just from that one pack. I've got a poppy design, I've got some big bold flowers, I've got a pinky design with organzas, and then again over here I've got lots of kinds. You've got the satin, so you've got the blue and the red for poppies, and the pink as well. So you've got a lot of texture in there that you can add to and work with. And then of course you will have 1 or 2 beads in there just to work with. So I'll just take some of these. So you've got a specific needle for the beads. It's a straw, a milliner's straw 10, which just means it's a little bit heavier than a bead needle. It's a bit easier to thread. And we've got the bead thread, and then you're just going to take and pick up a bead. Just take one of them, and then you're just going to catch the bead and just place it on the needle, and then that'll just go through onto the fabric, and then you're just going to take the thread down, and that's enough to hold that in place. And you can add as many of those. Bead thread, isn't it?
It's strong. Yeah. It's strong. It doesn't stretch. Once you've applied the bead, it won't fall in time.
And again, you can see how beautifully that comes together. The layering of the organza, the different colours of the flowers, the different textures, the heights, the beads. Oh, it's such a lovely, lovely craft. Yeah, if we all had a garden like Katrina's, although I still haven't seen much in the way of photographs, but I hear about it a lot, and I know it's beautiful, because Katrina takes inspiration from so many places, including her garden. I do want to just bring this little item in, because you are absolutely loving it. The needle case, I am going to go through this again. Half of the stock has gone. Now, I'm opening that out so you can see the front and back together. every single one of those flowers, the butterflies in there, the little beads. We've got a ladybird in there again. It's the way the organza is layered up. Everybody who gets this kit will see a different effect come through, because depending on how you layer, of course, how you improvise with that as well. I am going to open up because there's so many beautiful bits of detail inside as well. Little ladybird stitch, dragonfly you can see, the butterflies. Do you know, if you've got your play around pack as well, if you're going for the one-day special with the play around, I'm sure you'll find other flowers and other insects that you could also add in there. The felt itself is hand-dyed. This kit is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favourite items, I think, and I think it must be everybody's, because it is so busy. £23.95. Just going to open that out again. 776971 is the item number. The rate that stock is going, I think you need to be quick on it. Something else is literally flying out the door. We had a feeling this might happen. The very first time Katrina brought this to us, the stock didn't hang around very long at all. We sold so many, but Katrina couldn't get hold of any more stock at the time. She's managed to get more stock for this show. You are loving it. Over 40% of the stock has gone. This is the holly and the ivy. You can see the beautiful texture there again, the beads, the sequins, even the snowflakes. But that robin sat on the branch, he's got such an adorable face as well. 356881. You do get the hoop in this one, don't you, as well, Katrina, just to remind everybody there. But if you want those wooden hoops, you can get that bundle as well. I just want to make sure that you don't hang around if you want either of those, because they are very busy indeed. 356881, as I say, is for the holly and the ivy. Now, Katrina, I think you've got about 6 minutes left, if that's okay.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to do a little bit of work on this design here. So I'm just going to show you that in your pack you will have some satin fabric. So you can work the satin either in the card kit where it's pink flowers and blue flowers, or you can add poppies, you can add as many different colours as you wish. I'm just going to find the right colour.
With the play around pack as well that's in the one-day special, Katrina, the fact that you've given us the tweed and the cotton, you do get a different look to the you could do exactly the same, you know, create exactly the same image on the front of the fabric, but they do look different.
They do,
because
and
of the brightness of the cotton and then the beautiful softness of the tweed as well.
Yes, I think the tweed is great. It lends itself to lots of different kinds of designs, whereas the cotton one there, you can put layers of organza over the top of the fabric. So I've got sort of dark green, a lime green, and then I've got a little bit of blue, and I've just cut strips of fabric there just to give a little bit of a colour on the fabric. And then of course I've got texture at the bottom. I've used the heavier threads at the bottom there, and I've used some finer threads just so that as it's growing through the grass, you can see all the flowers, the cow parsley and the daisies, all kinds of wild flowers.
And again, those French nuts work so well, don't they, for the cowslips?
It's easy. Once you've got the satin, just cut a shape. Don't be good, you know, a bad circle's better. And then you're just going to take a little bit of the fabric, and then you're just going to add a little bit of a French knot in there, and then you'll get a really nice effect. And of course, if it's a wild meadow, there's going to be lots of flowers, lots of texture, and you can add as many or as few as you wish. So the yellow's a great colour. We've got the satin here, and a little tiny bit, just to give a little bit of texture.
Now, we have been promised some better weather, haven't we, and lots of sunshine. I can just imagine sat in the garden, just sat stitching.
That's the
great way to spend the day.
Great thing about this craft, you don't have to set it up as a, you know, you don't need a whole room. You just enjoy the process of the threads. Just enjoy the stitching. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just really have a go at the stitching, and the more you stitch, the more you like, the easier you find the stitches to do.
Yeah. And what I love as well, you could put that down at any point, Katrina. If you wanted to just go make a cup of tea, or somebody came to say hello, or the phone rang, you can literally put that project down and pick it straight back up again. You don't have to be following charts, you don't have to be worrying about all of that. It's so easy, it's so portable, it's so sociable as well. I do like that. If you've got people to chat to, you can stitch and chat at the same time.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, and anywhere, you know, you can stitch in the garden, you know, you can stitch if you're on the beach, or I mean, you can stitch absolutely anywhere and take your work with you. And I think that's I know lots of people who, you know, if you've been travelling or you've been you work, you can take it with you in your break.
Yeah.
You can use it at lunch, at your lunch break, just to rewind and do a little bit of stitching. And then once you've got, if you've got the book, then you could, there are lots of little examples where you could get suggestions from as to what stitch you could do, or little designs, how to use French knots, lazy daisy, and you can build up a stitch folio, if you like, from those, and maybe add it into the needle case. But you know, you can add texture upon texture here, just from that pack, and I know you'll have loads left over for another project.
Don't forget, everybody, as well, not only are you watching wonderful demonstrations, you can catch these on rewind, you can look back at previous shows. We'll be saying that probably tomorrow, because this is a launch show, of course. But you get full instructions, so if you've never stitched, Katrina will show you how to do those stitches in the instructions. They're very, very clear. As I said earlier, you can literally take everything from the pack and get going. If you want the hoops, you can add those on, but all of the fabrics, all of the needles, all of the beads, all of the organza, the ribbon, the threads, the yarn, whatever it is that's included in there, it's all there for you just to get cracking. Don't forget, we have got things like the extra fat quarter of the tweed. We'll bring that onto the bottom of the screen. That is £12.99, 331 119. I presume we've also got the cottons as well. There's some beautiful cottons out there. I'm sure we'll get to see those in later shows as well. There's only a couple of colours, I think, available at the moment, but well worth a look. But the one-day special, if you want value for money, this is it here. Absolutely incredible value. And that flexi as well, just today, £23.93. You've got 6 cards. You've got that project that you can see there with the daisies, and you've got that amazing play around pack, 160291. Katrina, we're in the last 30 seconds, would you believe? Where did those last few minutes go?
I don't know where the time goes. It just disappears, really.
It does. It's a good job you're back at 8 o'clock, though.
It is.
You're with Alex at 8.
So much more to show everyone. So.
Oh, we cannot wait. But don't go anywhere, because we've got more coming up. But do join Alex and Katrina at 8 o'clock. More demonstrations there. Coming up next, the menu, and I'm going to go and see Julie.